Good afternoon. This Audit Risk and Compliance Committee meeting is now being recorded for record-keeping purposes. By participating in the session, you are consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. This meeting is now being live streamed. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. It is 12:59 and welcome to the Audit Risk and Compliance Committee meeting of the SIRS Board. And as there is no current chair or assistant chair of this committee, I will be calling the meeting to order as in my capacity as the secretary of the board. So we'll call the meeting to order. And for the first item of business, I would first like to welcome back to the committee our current members, Mary Soderberg and Greg Thal, who were committees previously, so welcome back. And I'd also like to welcome our new members to the committee, Treasurer Garrity, Mr. Becker, and Representative Schemmel. So thank you all for serving on the Audit Risk and Compliance Committee. I'd also like to take just a moment before we get into roll call to introduce the senior staff who are the primary support givers to this committee. We have Karen Lynn from Internal Audit. Karen, can you say a quick hello, please?
Hello. Looking forward to working with everyone.
And Karen is our internal auditor, head of our internal office, audit office. And we have Chris Houston, who is our acting chief compliance officer for a little bit longer. Chris?
Hello. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. So you'll see and hear from them both today and into the future. And with that, Karen, would you like to do roll call, please?
Sure. I think we've probably established everyone who's here, but we'll officially run through that. Mr. Becker?
Present.
Thank you. Treasurer Garrity?
Present.
Thank you. Representative Schemmel?
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Soderberg?
Here.
Thank you. And Mr. Thal?
Present.
We have a quorum. Terry, everyone is present.
Thank you very much, Karen. And for the next order of business and the last order of business I'll be managing, we will have elections of the committee chair. And so proceeding forth, nominations are now in order for the office of committee chair for the Audit Risk and Compliance Committee. Are there nominations for the chair, please?
Yes, I would like to nominate Greg Thal.
Greg Thal, thank you very much. Are there any other nominations? Any others? Seeing none, all those who are in favor of Greg Thal as the chair of the Audit Risk and Compliance Committee, please signal by saying aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you very much. It passes. Congratulations, Greg. You are now the chair of the committee and can take over the rest of the meeting.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your confidence. I look forward to continuing to serve this committee in my new role. So with that, I think it is on to approval of the minutes of December 1, 2020. I think I need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
I guess do we need a roll call for this, Terry?
No.
No.
Not for the minutes and ministerial actions, Greg.
Okay, so all in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, saying nay. The motion carries. Then we move on to old business, of which there's none, and no special presentations. So that brings us into new business. The first item under new business is appointment of assistant chair, and I would like to appoint, with the consent of her and the members of this committee, the Treasurer Garrity, to be the assistant chair. Is anyone opposed? All right, terrific. Then do I need to, I guess we can say congratulations, Treasurer. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then do I turn over to you, Krista?
Well, I believe there are, just for your information, Mr. Thal, there are motions under the executive session, under executive content of the agenda tab of board docs. And
Okay.
I believe there is an appointment of assistant chair that you can read, a motion there, a consent. Can you find it, or?
I'm seeing, do you see what number it is? I'm not seeing it under.
It is under the agenda and then executive content.
Karen, I don't think that a motion is necessary for this. He
Okay.
appointed the assistant chair, and there were no opposition to it, so I think
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay, great. And then the only thing I want to mention, though, we'll have when we discuss the charter, if we need a motion there, that will need to be read.
Okay. Okay, so are we on to the committee work plan, or I've lost where we?
Yes, we are. We are on the work plan. Thank you.
Sure.
Under tab 7B is the 2021 committee work plan. The plan has several blocks highlighted in blue, which represent activity that is newly added to last year's version of the plan. New activity includes an independent auditor RFP that several of you will be sitting on the evaluation committee. The first meeting of that committee is this Friday. There are some other items listed, but the majority of them are administrative items that we will be dealing with in this committee meeting. So unless there are any questions, we can move on to Chris, who is going to discuss the committee's charter.
Yes, thank you, Karen. So under item 7C on your board docs agenda, you'll see we have the review of the Audit Risk and Compliance Committee charter. And the reason this is on the agenda is that the charter, all the committee charters for all the committees provide that there is to be a biennial review of the charters, and that each committee is to take action, if it so chooses, to recommend any proposed changes to the board. There's also a role for the Board Governance and Personnel Committee in the charter review process. So it really, in essence, is a two-step process. So to the extent that the board would take action, or the committee would take action today to make a recommendation to the board, that would be subject to concurrence with the Board Governance and Personnel Committee. So it's anticipated that in April, the Board Governance will be reviewing all of the proposed changes to the committee charters, and then it would be at the April board meeting that the board would be taking action on any recommended changes. And that's the structure of the proposed motion today as well. Included in board docs under 7C is a red line of the charter showing the proposed changes. I could say that most of them are sort of clarifying provisions to deal with such things as the reorganization that was undertaken last year, sort of naming conventions, for example, for the legal office. It's now called the Chief Counsel's Office. Also to clarify that the audits that are undertaken here not only are for the system, but also clearly for the both the defined contribution plan and deferred compensation plan. It has always been that way, but we just wanted to have clarifying language in the charter that specifies that. The other thing is on page 2 of the red line, there is language that's inserted that provides for an internal control audit at least every 5 years. Act 2020-128, which was enacted in November of last year, required that this be a provision that's undertaken by the board. It's an amendment to the retirement code. So we just wanted to capture that language in the charter itself. So unless there are any other questions, the next item would be if the committee would so chooses to act on making the recommendations as I outlined. So I'll open it up for any questions.
No, I think this is good work, good clarification. I especially like the what the audit shall include on the audit process and procedures, and that addition to paragraph 2. I think that is going in the direction of increased transparency that I think arguably we could already do, but I think it's helpful to lay it out there in black and white.
Yes,
And I'm sorry, I jumped in front of someone who has a hand up. I just see that.
That's okay. This is Paul Schemmel. I had a question in regard to the appointment of independent auditors. I see that CERS can use the same independent auditors to do multiple outside audits. I assume there's probably a history as to why that is. Was there ambiguity about that? I just was curious.
Mike, it's just clarification, and just for everyone's information, even for companies that have oversight by the SEC, auditors don't need to change from year to year. What is required externally, and CERS follows this same format, is that at a minimum every 5 years the partner on the engagement must roll off and a new set of eyes in the partner role must take place, and CERS does follow that practice.
Karen, I'm sorry, Greg, may I ask a question, please? It's Terry.
Please.
Karen, does that also refer to the fact that they do the audits for all of our plans, all 4 of our plans?
I'm sorry, what was that, Terry?
Does that same language also refer to the fact that they will do audits for all 4 of our plans?
From the perspective of the one auditor performing all plans, it would be nothing short of dangerous for us to have multiple auditors individually doing the plans. And the reason for that is because there would be separate materiality levels for each of the plans. It would definitely cause major headaches and confusion. To have one auditor do all plans is definitely the best approach to take, and there is absolutely no issue with our approach.
Very good.
Any other questions? So Greg, I guess we could proceed with the recommended motion.
That sounds good. I don't see one in board docs, so I can kind of.
If you look in the under the agenda in board docs, if you scroll down under executive content, do you see them there?
For me, I saw it when I clicked on the agenda at the top of the screen.
Right.
Then the motions came.
I see it. It was under 1. I was looking under 7.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the motion is, motion is in order for the Audit, Risk, and Compliance Committee to recommend to the State Employees Retirement Board that it approve the amendments to the Audit, Risk, and Compliance Committee Charter as set forth in the attached after receiving input from the Board Governance and Personnel Committee, and to the Board Governance and Personnel Committee that it concurs with this committee's recommendation and so inform the State Employees Retirement Board. Excuse me. Do I have a motion?
This is Mary, so moved.
Do we have a second?
This is Glenn, second.
You could take the roll, please.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Treasurer Garrity,
Aye.
Representative Schemmel,
Aye.
Ms. Soderberg,
Aye.
and Chair Thal.
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous.
Terrific. We will inform the board and the board governance committee. Next on the agenda, I have policies and procedures of the Internal Audit and Compliance Office.
And that is an informational item only, Chair Thal. So I believe we can move to executive session.
Okay, sounds good.
And prior to moving into executive session, I have to announce the reasons. Item D on the executive session agenda is a personnel matters, discussing personnel matters. The other items involve the results of various investigations and analyses of SCRS's processes and vulnerabilities. These expose potential risks and dangers that SCRS would be exposed to if conducted in public, and therefore to conduct these discussions in public would violate a lawful privilege or lead to the disclosure of information that is confidential or protected by law, and these are all appropriate subjects for executive session.
And Chair Thal, if you'll just bear with us and we'll wait for the go-ahead from staff.
All right, we're back on the live stream now.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I think we are back to any committee comments, concerns, or questions. Seeing none, I think a motion to adjourn is in order. Do I have the motion?
So moved.
Second.
Being moved and properly second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Any opposed? With that, the ayes have it. And on a housekeeping note, I believe the Board Governance and Personnel Committee is going to kick off at 3 o'clock for all those who are interested. Thank you.